What's up, guys? This is a video of the Salty Coral Tank 65-gallon Red Sea Reefer 300 XL, and I have a big surprise today for myself anyway. I have some new lighting that came in the mail. I picked it up on Black Friday sales online, and I just couldn't pass it up. I'm going to do an unboxing, and I will also explain a little bit behind my choice in lighting. First things first, I went with the Maxspect Razor R5, and I got the 200 watt for my tank. I think it'll have the punch I need for the SPS corals I want to run, and also the capability to really sustain my clam and some other things here. I went with this lighting because it was a little more affordable. Actually, a lot more affordable with the Black Friday sales. I just couldn't pass it up. And so I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing here. I already cheated. There was a little bit of damage when I got it in the mail. I wanted to make sure that my dreams were not crushed before I got too into it, or opened this up and had a broken light or anything like that and was just sad about it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and open the top up. First off, it is padded really well, so even if there was a little bit of damage to that box, it wasn't really an issue. And everything's packaged really well. So you have the mounts for the on top of the tank mounts here on top. I'm just going to remove those, get to the body. And then here is the main light. This is the 200 watt, so it has 4 pucks for lighting underneath, and I'll show you those here in just a moment. And then the power box is kind of big for this guy. But it's going to go behind the fish tank anyway. It looks like there's an on and off switch here I didn't see before. Just one plug, of course, because it's just one cord, which is another reason I really went with a light like this. I wanted a light that would cover the entire tank over there, but I also wanted less plugs. This one had 2 plugs back behind the aquarium, and they were just hard to finagle and get to. So now dealing with one is going to be a little easier on me, at least in my mind. A couple of the power cords right here. This one's for the power unit. This one's for the light to the box. And then the manual. I did take a look at this manual. There are several different settings you can use, but maybe it's because I didn't read it all the way through. I had a hard time finding which settings did what. And that was a little difficult. The presets are all here. It has several different presets, but it doesn't really say what they do anywhere, which I was kind of confused about. I think one I did read somewhere, for example, is SPS, but as far as what 2, 3, and 4 do, I really couldn't tell you. I'm sure that there's different lighting for LPS or a mixed reef or what have you. And then also you are able to customize them, but I think I'll just do one of the out-of-the-box settings for now. I don't think it comes with the over-tank mounting kit. Nope, that's just that. So it's just, I think you have to buy that separately. I'm going to lift this out of the foam because it is packaged in there tightly, and then I'll show you the underside. Okay, the underside, these pucks, I don't know what degree lenses those are. They're probably 90. If I read correctly, if I'm recalling correctly from some of the things I read on the internet, I think these are 90-degree lenses. So they have punch for deeper tanks, but if you want the spread, I'm not sure how the spread's going to look when I get these mounted, so I'll have to keep you guys in the loop. One thing to consider when you're checking out these Maxspect Razors, if you do go this route, is that these fans are supposed to be maintenanced on like a 2-year interval. So you need to literally replace the fans every 2 years to keep this thing at tip-top efficiency. If you're okay with doing that, this may just be the light for you. A couple of the videos I watched on the internet on BRS TV really swayed my choice as far as getting this over some other options out there. 1, it was more affordable for me, and 2, I thought that it would offer the best value for par and such. One thing that's a little cumbersome is that if you don't buy that extra ICV6 controller, for the wireless, whatever they call it, Syncra G connection or whatever. You have to use this little scroll wheel and clicky set up on their little tiny screen here, and it may be a little cumbersome. It looks like there's a slot for a micro SD, or I think in this terrible lighting it says SIM. So I don't know what the point of that is. I'm going to have to get into this manual a little more. But I'm going to go ahead and put this together, and I'm going to set it up, and we're going to finagle it together here in just a moment. Okay, so far I got this thing secured and these little set screws in place here underneath. It looks good. It looks a little low, but one reason I went with the over the tank mount instead of buying the extra above the tank mount is because I thought I'd have a little bit of trouble. I got about 14 feet of height, and if I didn't install something in the middle of there, it'd just be cable for days. So I didn't want that look. My wife didn't want that look. So we're going to try this out, and I'm going to get the power box and everything plugged in to see what it's looking like. Okay, first impressions with the Maxspect lighting at what I would assume would be 100%. It's definitely brighter than the other LEDs that I had, the AI26s. They're older, the spread's a little less. So definitely more punch, and I'm definitely going to have to tone this back a little bit and then acclimate as well. It's a little white out of the box, of course, with all the channels up and running before I'm dialing it, or before I dialed it in. This is a look at the, wigging out, the LED display, and the OLED display, and I guess that these fans are on a 24 to 36 month maintenance schedule. So you could leave them in for 36 months, but they recommend definitely blowing them off and maintaining them so they can adequately cool before you do have to replace them. Again, that's a little on the cheaper side for lighting. It's a little more budget friendly, but there is one cord to mess with. There's an over the tank mount out of the box, so you don't have to buy another special kit to mount them. I'm going to get these dialed in and show you what they look like here in a minute. All right, I got the lights dialed down, or dialed into what I wanted. I did tame them down to about 70% of the full capacity I wanted to do, just so I can do acclimation. The only wonky thing about this is that you kind of have to do a manual acclimation, so I started off quite low, and then I'm just going to ramp up manually every week or so, give or take. So I started at about 70% of what I ultimately wanted to do, and then at 100%, we can do, or I can do another video to see how the corals are doing. Of course, I'll keep you updated. One thing I do notice is the spread's a little bit different. It's a little darker down in the bottom. I don't know if I'll have to get supplemental lighting or anything like that in the future or not. Another thing I did notice is that this is just a little bit too close to the water for me. I'd rather it be probably about another 4 or so inches up top, so I may have to finagle something with this big giant wall in the future. But I'll definitely keep you updated. I'll keep you in the loop about what's going on, and I'll see whether or not the corals are liking it.